The divorce papers felt cold and heavy in Brielle's hands, the legal documents trembling slightly as she held them. She watched Noah's face across the ornate mahogany table, a subtle smirk playing on his lips. His expression wasn't one of sorrow or regret, but of a barely contained triumph. He looked as if he had just won the lottery. "So, you're really just going to leave?" Noah asked, his voice laced with mock surprise. His eyebrows raised in a way that was meant to be concerned but looked completely fake. At the same time, he tightened his grip on the hand of the woman next to him, a younger woman named Rachel. She sat on their plush velvet sofa, a piece Brielle had meticulously saved for over 6 months. Brielle's voice was steady, calm. "I'm taking all my personal belongings with me." She carefully placed the divorce papers on the coffee table. "Just so we're clear on the terms of our separation." Rachel's eyes, wide with admiration, slowly scanned the enormous living room of the grand Russian apartment. Her gaze moved from the bespoke crystal chandeliers to the perfectly arranged furniture, and then to the hand-selected decor that had transformed the dated 1980s space into a masterpiece of modern design. It was a space that looked like it had been taken directly from the pages of a high-end architectural magazine. "This place is just perfect." Rachel breathed out, running her hand along the velvet armrest of the sofa, a look of pure bliss on her face. "It's exactly what I've always dreamed of." Noah waved his hand dismissively at Brielle. "Your old clothes and whatever else, just take them. Honestly, they just remind me of our miserable time together." Brielle nodded slowly, choosing not to correct his assumption. "The movers will be here tomorrow. Just remember, we agreed on no division of property. My name is Brielle. I'm a 27-year-old interior designer living in the bustling city of St. Petersburg, Russia. This is the story of how I didn't just empty a house, but a life. 3 years ago, I married Noah, believing we were true partners in every sense of the word. He was 32, worked in construction management, and had inherited his grandparents' sprawling, dated apartment just before we met. The place was structurally sound, but it hadn't been touched since the 1980s. It was all beige walls and scuffed linoleum floors. Noah had filled it with whatever he could find: second-hand furniture from friends and cheap items from discount stores. When we married, I saw the immense potential in the space. With my design, expertise, and all of my life savings, I transformed that tired apartment into a truly spectacular home. Every piece was chosen with incredible thought and intention. Mid-century modern furniture that complemented the building's classic Russian architecture, statement lighting that created a sense of drama and elegance, and custom-made window treatments that framed the city's beautiful skyline. I kept detailed records of every single purchase, partly as a professional habit and partly because I had learned early on that Noah was incredibly careless with money. That carelessness soon extended to our relationship. The small things began to pile up, like a silent tide of neglect. Dishes left in the sink for days, despite our clear agreement to share chores. The constant, snide complaints about the expensive gourmet meals I'd prepared after working 12-hour days. Dismissive comments about my obsession with aesthetics. But I kept trying, believing that a successful marriage required constant, careful compromise. What I simply could not compromise on was the discovery of his texts to Rachel 6 months ago. She was 23, a temporary worker in his office, with an Instagram feed full of aspirational American home decor she could never afford. Their messages made it all too clear what had truly drawn her to my husband: the promise of a life in the beautiful home she wrongly assumed he had created. Noah has such amazing taste. She had messaged a friend. His wife is so busy working all the time and just doesn't appreciate what he's built here. I saved screenshots of everything. The messages, the photos of their expensive dinners, the lavish hotel receipts, not for confrontation, but for confirmation. I needed to be absolutely certain before making my next move. When I finally contacted Rachel directly, suggesting we all meet to discuss the situation, she seemed more excited than ashamed. She arrived at our apartment wearing an incredibly expensive dress that probably cost more than she made in a week, clearly purchased for the occasion. "I just want you to know," she said immediately, leaning forward with a show of practiced sympathy. "I never meant to hurt you, but when two people connect the way Noah and I have—" "Let's just get this over with," I interrupted, sliding the signed divorce papers across the elegant table. "Noah and I agreed before our marriage that there would be no division of property in case of divorce." Rachel's eyes lit up with joy, and she squeezed Noah's hand tightly. "See, I told you she'd be reasonable." Noah nodded, a wave of relief washing over his entire body. Brielle has always been practical. It's one of her better qualities. The slip of the tongue didn't surprise me. He'd been calling me by the wrong name for months. "Let me show you around," Rachel suddenly announced, standing up. "I have so many ideas for this place already." I watched in complete silence as she walked through my carefully curated rooms, her fingers trailing over the smooth surfaces, mentally replacing my presence with her own. "These light fixtures are absolutely breathtaking." "And this dining table?" she asked, her voice full of awe. "It is," I said. Every single piece in this home was chosen specifically to complement the space. "It's perfect," she breathed. "I wouldn't change a single thing." "You won't have to," Noah assured her. "Brielle's just taking her clothes and personal belongings, right?" I nodded again, seeing no reason to elaborate. "The movers will be here promptly at 9 a.m. tomorrow." That night, I stayed in the guest room, listening to them whisper and laugh in what had been my bedroom. I didn't sleep at all. Instead, I meticulously reviewed my inventory lists one final time, making sure that not a single piece had been overlooked. The movers arrived precisely at 9 a.m. the next morning. It was not one truck, but two massive trucks with a full crew of 6 professional workers. I had hired the best moving company in the city, the one I often collaborated with for my design clients. "Morning, Miss Turner," the foreman said with a respectful nod. "We have the inventory list you sent. Looks like a comprehensive job today, huh?" Noah and Rachel emerged from the bedroom, still in their robes, looking utterly annoyed at the sudden noise and commotion. "Why are there 2 trucks?" Rachel asked, frowning as the workers began carefully wrapping and removing the large artwork from the living room walls. "How many clothes could you possibly have?" I didn't answer her. Instead, I simply handed the foreman my tablet, which contained the full and detailed inventory. The men worked with incredible efficiency and speed, wrapping each piece of furniture in thick protective blankets, carefully detaching the light fixtures, and even removing the custom window treatments with precision. It took a good 20 minutes for Noah to finally realize what was happening. "What the hell?" he shouted, rushing toward the workers who were dismantling the massive sectional sofa. "Stop, that's my couch." I handed him a folder. "Here are the receipts. Every single piece of furniture, every appliance, every light fixture, and every piece of decor was purchased by me, with my money after we were married." The color drained from his face as he frantically flipped through the pages. "You can't do this. This is we've been using these things for years." "Usage doesn't transfer ownership," I said, my voice as calm as a winter lake. "And we agreed. No division of property. You're taking everything." Rachel's voice rose to a near scream of disbelief. "Not the house," I clarified. "That belongs to Noah. Just everything in it." By noon, the living room was completely empty, save for the built-in shelves. By 11 p.m., the kitchen contained nothing but the cabinets and countertops. By 4 p.m., even the custom-made curtain rods had been removed. Noah alternated between pleading and threatening. "You'll regret this, Brielle," he hissed while the workers carefully packaged the expensive surround sound system. "I'll sue you." "On what grounds?" I asked him quietly. "We agreed in writing. No division of property. You keep what's yours. I keep what's mine." As the workers began loading the final truck, a small panel van pulled up to the curb. 2 more men in coveralls got out and walked toward the apartment. "Mrs. Turner," One of them said, "We're here for the wallpaper removal." Rachel, who had been sitting silently on the bare floor since the dining chairs were taken, looked up in absolute horror. "The wallpaper, custom printed," I explained. "Designed specifically for this space. It cost nearly 8 Russian rubles and was paid for by my company. You can't take the walls." Noah screamed. "Not the walls," I corrected him calmly. "Just what's on them. Like you said, I'm taking all my personal belongings." I left them standing in a cavernous, empty apartment with bare walls and exposed outlets, where my designer sconces had once hung. The apartment now looked even older and more dated than before I had transformed it. All of its flaws were now painfully visible without my carefully placed distractions. 2 weeks later, Noah called me. His voice had completely lost the smug confidence that had once attracted me. "Brielle, please," he began, his voice cracking. "Rachel left. She said she couldn't live like this. We need your help." I asked, my voice flat. I need your help," he corrected himself quickly. I was wrong about everything. "Wrong about what, specifically?" I asked, though I knew exactly what he meant. He sighed a long, defeated sigh. "About us, about Rachel, about the apartment. I didn't realize how much work you put into making it beautiful. Rachel kept complaining. Nothing was ever good enough for her. She said the second-hand furniture bought looks terrible and that she didn't sign up to live in a dorm room." "That sounds difficult," I said, feeling absolutely nothing. Would you consider coming back? Or at least helping me make this place livable again?" I thought about the furniture that was now arranged in my new apartment, a beautiful penthouse with incredible views of the city. I had already sold most of the old pieces, deeming them too full of bad memories. The proceeds had funded a complete renovation of my new space, with pieces that better reflected who I was, now a strong, independent woman. "I'm afraid that's just not possible. But I wish you luck with your decorating." I hung up before he could respond, then blocked his number for good. The divorce had been finalized a week earlier, officially ending our marriage. Some spaces, once emptied, should stay that way forever.